This is Chiming In.
Anyway, they picked me out and said that we were throwing ice and blah, 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 and that I'd punched a girl, which wasn't the case. And
The video, there was footage which clearly showed it wasn't.
I went and saw the board, and I read a letter when I got sacked to him, and
There were tears. Some board members were crying, weren't they?
I can't remember, mate. The team actually came down for lunch there. Nate Miles remembers walking in, and I was in the middle of grating carrots or doing something. It's middle of summer. As sweaty as anything I was. And he reckons I just wiped my head with my hand. And he said he didn't order salad on his burger that day, that's for sure.
Former Roosters superstar and legend of rugby league, Jake Friend. Welcome to Chiming In.
Thanks, Chimes. I like the name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good to see you, mate. I wasn't sure how to introduce you.
Yeah, like I said, usually it's my rap sheet of misdemeanors, and then Jake Friend comes after that, which is always...
Hello, Your Worship.
It's a nice icebreaker for you. It's not so great for me, though.
It's good to see you, mate. Good to have you here.
Yeah, it's good to see you got a gig finally.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I've been waiting to hear you on a radio or a podcast for a long time, Chimes.
Long time. Hey, you could nearly write a book, I reckon.
Got a few chapters.
Yeah. Oh, your journey's been a good one, hasn't it?
Yeah, you've been there along the whole thing, mate. So,
yeah. Along the way, 3 premierships.
Yeah.
Co-captain in 2 of those premierships. World Club Challenges, State of Origins, Australia, and at one stage, it looked very much like you were spiraling out of control and weren't going to have a career at all.
Well, yeah, it didn't
Maybe
look that way. It happened, but yeah.
So we'll go back to the beginning, mate. So you came down to the Roosters from Noosa when you were 15 or 16 years old?
16, yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Lived with a family in Clovelly?
Yeah, lived with the Baptist family in
Good family?
Clovelly. Great family, a local family. She was a Roosters member, and they reached out to her, and she said she'd take on a player, and I was her first and I was her last. Yeah.
You probably couldn't have got a better home family.
No, I'm still, my mum and dad come down and they still go and see Linda and Jerry, and, I go and pop in, try and touch base with them whenever I can. Still, great relationship. They were, part of that.
The team friend, weren't they?
Yeah, team friend, and that whole start of my career where I had the few misdemeanors, that it was living with them. So they rode that wave, similar to you and everyone else around me. And didn't kick me out or anything. They stuck by me, and so that's probably why we're still good friends now.
So little fish in a big pond, a quiet kid from Queensland. Was Sydney challenging for you? Was it because you didn't have a lot of friends here, or where did you struggle?
Don't really know. I can't really put a finger on it. I just think it came down. There is plenty to go and plenty of spots to go and find trouble in, and I just went to all of those.
Did you find some people gravitated towards you because you're an emerging footy star? They wanted to hang out with you?
No, I wouldn't lay blame on anyone. I think I'd made the decisions to go and do whatever I did when I came down. Got carried away probably, and thought that was what it was all about rather than the footy, and ended up not having footy. So
let's unravel the story, mate. Your first misdemeanor, and it's relatively common, was a drink driving charge.
Yep.
Tell us about that night.
Yeah, we went to the Chloe, I think, early, and then ended up in the Cross, but I'd parked my car, I think it was in Bondi. I might have even gone to one of the boys in Bondi to try and save some dollars. I got the cab to Bondi and jumped in the car, and about 2 turns away from where I was parked, the cops pulled in behind me and followed me, and obviously wasn't driving in a straight line, so they put the sirens on, and that was it. I got taken in and charged, and I think it was So after the first game in 2029, I'd played 5 in 28, and then
So
got
2009.
2009. I
Yep.
got the starting hooker spot in, and then didn't have that for very long.
So you went from pretty much SG ball almost straight into first grade, did you?
Yeah, 28. I went SG ball. The national youth comp, I think, was on there, and played a few there, a couple at Newtown, and then played 5 games for the NRL team, and then went back and played the Newtown. We made the grand final that year in Newtown.
So not too long after your first knock on, you were charged with assault and failing to leave premises. That was it. Where was that at?
Tank, which is now Mr. Wong's.
Right.
I'm allowed back there, which is good.
Right. Well, the charges were later dropped.
Yes.
And you were proven
they were bogus.
not guilty.
Yeah.
But that created headlines because we've got an 18-year-old kid here who's a little bit earlier blown up the booze bus. What was your reading?
1.56, I think.
It's solid.
it's a good effort in a terrible situation.
Yeah, we shouldn't make light of it. Then a second misdemeanor, which the media loved. They have photos of you in the cell. There was a media frenzy. I know they were trying.
Yeah, I think it was me, Pierce. There was a bunch of boys there, and anyway, they picked me out and said that we were throwing ice and blah blah blah, and then that I'd punched a girl, which wasn't the case. And
the video, there was footage which clearly showed it wasn't.
No, the rest of the group actually got kicked out that night straight away, and I actually walked past the girl I allegedly punched later on with a drink, and then it wasn't until security realised that I was still in there they came and grabbed me, and the next day
the case was dropped soon after that footage.
Well, as soon as we subpoenaed it, they wouldn't give it up. So, and then the case was basically thrown out of court. So, but still the hoo-ha of all that, the adjournments and all that sort of stuff. It went on for, I think it was 14 months or something.
You weren't a target of the media, but you had emerged as an NRL bad boy. Yeah. You're 18 years of age, 2 knock-ons in 6 months, and then a couple of months later, not your finest hour, but you were arrested.
Yep.
And charged for you. Tell us the story. You had a big night out, and you were trying to do the right thing.
Which one's this? I've forgotten which one.
This is one where
next.
you fell asleep in the taxi.
The cab. Yeah. Was it okay?
Yeah.
We're nearly through.
This is the last one we're going to talk about.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Again, I think
it was December 13, 2000.
It was after the Christmas party, yeah. And then I went to, I don't know where, Cross probably again.
Yeah.
I was on the way home and fell asleep in the cab, and
you told the driver you wanted to go to Coogee.
I told him my address, and then because I was asleep, he took me to Randwick Police Station, where the police woke me up, and
you were well and truly intoxicated.
Sleeping,
resting,
resting, and then anyway, woke me up, and there was a bit of a altercation, or a
banter,
verbal altercation, and words were said that they didn't like, and then I was locked up again there. So,
So at the time, the taxi driver accused you of not
having money, or
not having money. The police didn't realise you had $191 on you. They handcuffed you because
minus your percentage.
Yeah, minus 6%. They handcuffed
6%,
you because they feared you were going to run away. You couldn't even walk or talk. But and then they charged you with swearing in a public place. So all this information banked on top of your first 2 misdemeanors, again, hit the headlines. Off we go. The bad boys back to it.
Yep.
And at the time, the NRL had just gone through, I think, Brett Stewart
there was
and
a
Brett
bunch.
Seymour.
A bunch of different.
And it was time for an iron fist, and David Gallop and the NRL had decided there had to be a scapegoat. Well, I shouldn't say a scapegoat.
I think it was probably
stern punishment.
Yeah, it was. The club decided to stand me down and sack me basically.
Yeah.
I went home for Christmas. With no job.
So originally, the Roosters wanted to stand you down for 2 games and fine you $10,000, and the NRL basically told the Roosters, you have to terminate his contract.
Yeah, yeah, and well, I guess
You just signed a 3-year
now that we're
contract.
5 minutes in with all the misdemeanors,
Yeah.
I suppose it's probably warranted. And I think if that part of my life didn't happen, maybe I wouldn't have continued or got back and then continued the career that I had. But yeah, I think it was a definite eye opener and a learning curve of what you can and can't do really as a young footballer, or even as a young person. Yeah. So yeah, obviously it was tough going home to Christmas with the family and not going back to, well, knowing you're not going back to Sydney. But yeah, then the Roosters gave me an opportunity to come down and work in a cafe, train with some local guys. A lot of them your mates, like down at Chloe Surf Club, and I was doing jiu-jitsu and all different things, running with Matty Gary and Joe. Joey Thomas was doing all my weights. Whilst I worked at the cafe, and I had to go and do that and prove, to the Roosters that if I could do that and get myself back and fit and ready, that they'd give me another opportunity.
So what's going through your head when your contract's torn up? You just signed a new 3-year deal. I don't know who's more upset, you or me. And you're a young fellow.
Would be at 6%. I must have been fine print.
I think it's tax deductible. Okay. I'm pretty sure it is. But anyway, your career is taken from you. And I remember Nick Politis, you said to me, when am I back? What are we going to do? And I said, I don't know. And you said, well, what are we going to do? I said, Nick Politis has said he'll get you back. Yep. But he wouldn't put a time frame on it. He said, well, get him back. He's just got to do what we need him to do. So you're going cutting up to Burley and making coffee.
Yeah, down at Central. Worked at a cafe down there for Jimmy Spirulopoulos. So I spent 4 months there. And
what was your day like?
So I'd train in the morning down at the surf club, either have a run or do weights. That was about 5:30, 5 o'clock. Come home, get changed, jump on the bus because I had no license, get the bus to Central, and then chuck my apron on and start peeling and cutting vegetables for the daily vegetable tray. And then I'd make the tabbouleh, wash some plates. I was told I was going to learn to make a coffee, but that never happened. And then basically I was a kitchen hand and a dishy for 4 months, and then I'd finish there at 2:30, get the bus home, go and get changed, and then I'd go either do weights or running, whatever I didn't do in the morning, and then usually jiu-jitsu 2 or 3 times a week.
You're off the drink?
Yes, I was off the drink.
Yeah, getting some counselling, some help?
I did some. I think the training was my counselling. I think everyone's different in that sense. You can go and talk to people, and that might work for someone. But for me, it was about being busy and doing things that I enjoyed, which was training, and the jiu-jitsu was cool, something new. It's probably stimulating my brain rather than dulling it with alcohol, I suppose. And
there are times there you're working away thinking, is this ever going to end? Am I ever going to get back?
Yeah, I think it was 4 months in the end, but there was sometimes in the kitchen that you're sitting there peeling carrots or doing something that I was like, fuck, is this going to, when's this going to happen? Is this worth it? And, hindsight's easy to say, but if I didn't stick that out, if Nick didn't give me the opportunity to even do that and then, stick it out, and I probably wouldn't have had the career at the Roosters. It could have been somewhere else, and who knows what would have happened there.
So you were confident Nick was going to get you back?
I went and saw the board, and I read a letter when I got sacked to him, and
there were tears. Some board members were crying, weren't they?
Can't remember, mate.
So you put together a heartfelt letter to the board.
Yeah,
which basically said what?
Well, basically just apologising for everything that I had done up to there, and sort of not asking for forgiveness, but asking, for a second chance. So I thought, well, I didn't think, but I just cracked on with what I was doing, the program that had been set, and I think it was April. I played maybe round 3 in under 20s, and then the next week I was back into the first grade team. So.
And you've made the grand final that year.
Yeah, 2010 under Brian. Which we had Toddy there, Piercy. It was a great year of footy. Probably best attacking team, I think. The Roosters have had. Just with those two, Toddy won the. I actually lived with Toddy that year. We're both off the drink, and
Toddy Carney.
Toddy Carney, yeah. He went on to make Dally M, New South Wales, Australia, I think, all that year. And then got to the grand final and got done by the Dragons. Yeah. It's good that I can remember all this.
You're going good, yeah. Especially for someone who's had 20 concussions.
Oh, it's not that many.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Hey, did you ever look back and think, you're a club legend, 3 premierships, highly regarded, now work for the club, and beyond those early bumpy obstacles that you hit, your career was unblemished. Did you ever look back and think that working in that shop and being trained by those blokes was the defining moment in basically saving your career?
Definitely. I think there's 2 parts: going home at Christmas time, but with nothing to come back to. You go home to your mates and they're all following your career and like messaging every week, and then
ground zero.
Yeah, and then there's none of that. It's like, do you have a labouring job for me come January 7?
Yeah.
So there was that part, and then obviously coming back, and then just probably going, like, it was hard, like definitely hard. It was probably the hardest training period and work and all that of like my life, in the sense of time and and not having transport makes it harder. So, but those people, like, it was. They're still around. I still see them, and they're still the exact same genuine dudes that they had no reason to try and help me or anything. But I think definitely, like, it was. I said it before, but it's something's got to happen to sort of shift your life, and that was definitely a big part. Yeah.
Did you ever think the NRL were too hard on you?
Nah, it is what it is. I think.
So you accepted it from the get-go. Here we go.
I understand why, and it's a business, and there's plenty of businesses out now. I've got one myself that I wouldn't probably accept any of the things that I did. So it is what it is. You got to live and die by your choices, and then obviously cop the consequences, and then it's a decision on whether you want to go and be better or just keep being a flop, I suppose.
What did Mum and Dad say when all this happened? Obviously, there was concern there, but didn't they talk to you about what you needed to do, or did you really want to?
Not really. Like that. Yeah, Dad had that conversation, I suppose, over that Christmas period. But as well, you have those conversations, but they've fully support you, which is obviously it probably would have hurt them. And the thing I was saying about, your mates calling you, I'm sure they were having people call them saying I'm a dickhead, or, he's wrecked an opportunity, or fucking bagging me, doing whatever. And they copped, they copped the brunt of everything as well.
Was there anyone in particular at the Roosters that comes to mind that was helpful to you during that time to keep you motivated or support you?
Yeah, there's been a bunch of people along the way. I think Robbo, Smithy was one when I came back, and then Robbo as well. They took me to Coogee and sat me there and we had a coffee in the park, and they were the ones that sort of said, we're ready to have you back, but you got to be all in. So yeah, those two right at the start, and then I still laugh with her now about it, but Kath King, I was trying to show this old car. I can't remember which one it was after.
Kath works at the club.
Kathy King's like the mother of the Roosters, the go-to. She's been there forever. Since I've ever been there, I think. Yeah. But she, so I remember. Can't remember which one, but the media all stormed the Roosters after one of the incidents, and then she had this old little Barina or something, and then we went out the back door and we were trying to jump in the car, and someone spotted us, and we're trying to get it going. I was like, just wouldn't. It was just so slow and had this drag, and and we still speak about it. It would have been quicker to be in a Flintstone car and just start running ourselves. But that's a lady that was there. In those times, got some funny memories of them. But even now, she, speak to her every day. See her in there, and I think. Yeah, she's one of the most important parts of
she's
the Roosters.
Glue,
yeah,
and a life member of the
life member, and I think was it 30 years she had last year. So it's just those people. There's obviously players along the way that help you as well, but her Brian Canavan was another one that was probably a supporter of mine that didn't have to be.
Yeah. What was Joe Thomas like, who was training you down there at Cloverleaf?
Yeah, Joe's a great fella. Just I think all those guys just sort of told it how it was, and they weren't there to sit and talk about all this shit like you want to, but they were more about let's get you going and get you back, and let's train and be healthy, and a great fella, probably says about as much as me usually as well. So there wasn't huge conversations between the two of us, but we definitely got after the training.
How does a 19-year-old process being chased by the media and cameras and photographers charging at you?
You don't at the time. I don't think. It is what it is. It's funny now, in a sense, and then it's also like you're like, how the hell did that happen? But it is what it is. That's what happens. As I said, you do something wrong, you're in the spotlight. That's their job. It's their job's to come and get a snip for 6 o'clock news or a podcast or whatever they're doing, and that's what they did.
Your relationship with the media changed a bit because after a while, you engaged with them a bit better and you were more comfortable. You made captain of the club later on, but what triggered that? Do you have any training, or how did that come about?
Oh, you do a little bit of training with, inside the Roosters, but I don't know. I think it's just growing up and then realising, like, I disagree with some people of how they wrote, like, personal things about me. But at the end of the day, it's their job. So they have to write it. But I believe there is a way to write bad news and bad articles. You can write it in a way that it's not an attack from you against me. It just is what it is. I suppose the easiest way to mend that relationship is not get in strife anymore. So that helped. I was talking about footy, not about not about.
So you obviously had to re-earn the trust of the coaching staff and your teammates and the club officials and that. How'd you go about doing that? By playing well, I suppose. Yeah,
basically, I suppose the cafe and all that was a part of it. The team actually came down for lunch there. Nate Miles remembers walking in, and I was in the middle of grating carrots or doing something. It's middle of summer. As sweaty as anything I was. And he reckons I just wiped my head with my hand. And he said he didn't order salad on his burger that day, that's for sure.
Were fans recognising you while you're working there?
Yeah.
Asking for photos or autographs?
I don't think many photos, but yeah. Yeah, like I said, I would have been a sweaty little mess out the back with my apron on. So it was just there's Jake, and off they went.
Tell us about Jimmy, who owned the cafe, ran the cafe. He was a Roosters fanatic, wasn't he?
Yeah, loves the Roosters. Still does love the Roosters. I think he sold the cafe. I'd be a little while ago now. Had a few health issues, but again, another guy that didn't have to help me, but just let me work there. I suppose probably a blessing and a curse. Like, he didn't give me. There was no like cushy job. It was like you're there, and I had to do work for it and do whatever basically he said. So I think my weekly pay was $431 at the cafe.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that you weren't getting paid by the club because your contract was terminated.
No, that was it. That was my. That was my.
It was a big downfall, wasn't
That's why I was lucky that all those local guys helped me, and I was training here, there, and everywhere, and then obviously Linda and Jerry, allowed me to stay on with them and continue living with them through that period.
And funnily enough, you went on to own a cafe of your own.
Yeah. I don't know why. After the sweaty stories that I've just told you then,
a coffee shop, mate.
I decided to open a local cafe with a local owner down at Courtyard, Dave Martin. We opened up at High Street. We were bought a little Chinese restaurant, which was it's interesting when we demoed it. I don't know if you ever ate there, but
I called in.
Yeah,
but you used to make me pay.
Did you eat at the Chinese before, though?
No.
Yeah, because I know you're a Chinese man.
Yeah, I do like Chinese.
Yeah, but you need to be careful because there's some things behind those grills that shouldn't be there. So, so we fully renovated it. It was the light rail was coming. And then
so it was opposite the hospital.
Opposite Prince of Wales there, and a great opportunity to sort of get there. Hospital, obviously, across the road, plenty of foot traffic, and then the light rail finishing where basically where the cafe is. But the light rail took 4 years, so that was tough. And then we sort of had a year of good business, and then COVID hit. So it wasn't. It was a great experience, but not the best. Not the best business venture, but. I suppose what you take out of what I took out of it, it didn't cost me anything, but so I made money in the sense of the knowledge it gave back to me from all the ups and downs of it.
Battling a bit of flu today, but still like typical Jake friend, turn up and do the job.
Yeah, I'm not feeling the greatest times, but I wasn't going to let you hang in. You've messaged me 10 times about this week and the timings and the address.
Thank you. That's
you
enough.
sent me 3 different addresses too.
Thank you. I think you're losing you. Mate, business, you've delved into a different business since then. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it was actually right before COVID, 2021. We started a business. I started a business with my mate, Friendly Plumbing. My fiance is in real estate, and I saw sort of what they were paying out to trades, and thought there was a bit of an opportunity there to try and jump in and facilitate some of the or maybe be a booking service to facilitate the job, some of the work with some of me tradie mates, and then that became too hard because I didn't know a whole lot about anything.
You've never done anything in relation to plumbing.
Dad's a builder, and then my mate sort of said, I'm a plumber. Like, why don't we start Friendly Plumbing? And
so Friendly Plumbing. How'd you come up with that name? It's brilliant.
Well, he actually did it. Yeah.
First go.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So
how many trucks you got? How many people you got working for?
We got 16.
16.
Yeah. Now there's 8 service trucks, and then some admin and
So the business is going well?
It's going all right. It's like anything, it's a work on. So forever, you grow, and then you have different things happen, and you got to pivot and try and fix them. And
so you're learning every day.
Yeah, it's been really good. I think I love footy, and I still coach at the Roosters with the Academy, and I suppose that's probably the passion. But like going and doing something outside of footy, you know, I know nothing about or knew nothing about. That was a challenge that, I was keen to sort of go after. So yeah, it's, you know, we started with myself and Josh. I actually had the concussion the round one, and then that sort of I had to have a break and see different people, and then the bubble happened, so they went away, and everyone shut down. But because of plumbing being an essential service, I ended up being a labourer for Josh, and off we went.
So just the two of you?
Two of us at the start, and then we got a loan for a van, and we got the van, and 6 months later we got one more worker, and then we got an office girl, and yeah, anyway, 3 or 4 years later now, yeah, we are where we are, and yeah, hoping to try and continue to you know, grow the brand and the business.
All around Sydney?
Yeah, Sydney Metro. Yep. So yeah, there's trucks. We've got big bright vans.
They're Roosters colours, sort of, aren't they?
Oh, they're red, yellow, and white.
Okay.
So, yeah, a couple of colours are similar.
Right.
But, yeah, so I'm glad you know my trucks. That's good.
Yeah.
They're not taking 6% of this one, I can tell you that.
But it's doing well, eh?
Yeah, it's going good. You know, got really lucky, obviously, with my business partner, Josh, and then 2 other boys that came to work with us. We've offered some share in the business as well. So there's 4 of us in the business, and, you know, it's it's just it's a learning curve, but it's something that, you know, I think as a player, just in this bubble, and you think footy's everything, and it is at the time. But I've been really, I've always been keen on like what else is out there, and yeah, you know, I think it's just been a cool learning experience, and you know, something that it's got your name attached to it. It's something that you want it to do well, and you know, I think the space is a big space, you know. Emergency maintenance is something that everyone needs, and everyone's toilet blocks up at some point.
So how do we get in contact with you if an emergency?
We've got a 1300 number.
You want to give it to us?
No, just jump on friendlyplumbing.com.au. You know, we should be. You should be able to find us.
Jobs, eh?
Big jobs, little jobs, whatever you. Yeah. Anything maintenance wise, emergency or preventative. You sort of will do.
And the people who call, there's a chance you might be there with a shovel and.
There was a chance. You can. You might be able to pay a fee for me to get back on the shovel. Nah. We've got a really good group of boys. You know, I still, not of recent times, but yeah, I would go and jump on the shovel and help out and do whatever. But yeah, sort of just, I've been spending my time in the office with the other couple of boys trying to get it to a point where we can go and expand. So yeah, it's been
and you're
cool.
A young dad, and you've got a beautiful partner, Jenna, and a couple of kids.
Yep. Yeah. So I've similar timing around that COVID period. We had our first child.
Yeah.
PJ, my little boy, who's now turns 4 in March 5th, actually. So yeah, and then my little daughter Sophia, she's 2 in May. So it's been a hectic.
You've come a long way, haven't you? Since sitting outside that Ramick police station at 5:30 in the morning, December 2009.
So hopefully this footage disappears before you can watch it. So, but no, you know, it's been, it's great. The kids are awesome. They're hard work, but you know, watching them, grow and just learn, and it's you know, it is one of the best things that can happen to someone until they get old and stuff up and put in the papers and that, I suppose.
Plans for more?
No, I'm done.
Right.
Sophia has got a very similar personality to me, so I think we'll have our hands full with Peter and her. Yeah.
Are there any other business opportunities or ideas that tickle your fancy?
Nah, you know, I sold the cafe because I had the plumbing and footy and the cafe all at once at a period, and I couldn't. I was just my head. I was trying to do bits and bobs everywhere, and I don't like doing things in halves, which is probably why I was in the back of cops' cars and then was able to get back from that. I just want to sort of focus on the footy, the Roosters. I think the academy that myself and Mitch have built, I'm really proud of what we've sort of achieved so far there. So I just want to hammer that and the plumbing and try and have some time to enjoy the family.
Better talk some footy, mate, because you were pretty good at that.
That's cool.
3 premierships. How many grand finals did you play in?
I played 4,
Right.
So the 2010, which we lost, and then, won the next 3, 13, 18 and 19. Yeah.
Is there one that stands out?
13 was being the first, was awesome, but 2018 against Melbourne, as a player, we had our season launch last night at the Chooks, and I talked about it in that, but as a player you want a perfect game. I always was searching for that perfect game, which I never got probably individually, but I think as a team, a perfect performance was that 2018. Melbourne's been a powerhouse for forever, and to be able to come out and basically blow them off the park in 20 minutes. It was just it almost was easy. The guys next to you, they're all just on, and it was just like that game is probably, I've got other ones that great D performances, but that is a whole game, and that is a team performance, and just having guys, 17 dudes, to have them all dialed in and be absolutely on, that's what you want to do every week, but life and everything else doesn't allow that very often. But that was probably the closest that I've ever felt to a perfect game as a team.
You're doing a bit of coaching now?
Yep.
What's that like?
It's really good. It's definitely rewarding, especially in the space that we're in. We've created the academy at the Roosters, which we've got our pathways, our Harold Matts and SG Ball, but the academy sort of sits, above and in line with that, and we're sort of getting out and trying to help those two teams. But then we've picked the 20 or so best of our guys in our system to basically try and upskill and fast track, their journey to NRL. We've got the club bought 11 a block of apartments, which we house the 11 sort of best ones, and they get their food and everything's sort of supplied, recovery, protein, the whole lot. We've got a house parent there, Jodes, that cooks and manages those boys, and I think I'm hoping that in the next, definitely this year, being that we've lost a few guys, that a bunch of them sort of get to go and play NRL and realise their dream. It was sort of the thing that we spoke about at the start, was like we want to get them to NRL, but we want them to be long-standing NRL players. We don't want them to just play one game. We want to teach them how to be consistent and go and play 200 and ideally 200 at the Roosters. We want them embedded in our culture and love the club and go after a long-standing career and premierships at the Chooks.
Now, you played State of Origin. It took a while to get there. You played 3 games for Queensland, but there was a bloke who they kept picking in front of you, a bloke called Cameron Smith. If Cameron wasn't born, you might have played 30 Origins at 30,000 a game. That's $1 million you've missed out on.
How much is it for you?
About 50K, I suppose.
Yeah, mate, it is what it is. Obviously, I would have loved to play more Origins. That one that I got at the end of my career was, it was awesome to be able to, even the way it all panned out, that it was COVID and we went into a bubble and a camp and we were called the worst team ever. And, I dreamt of playing Origin my whole career. I watched it as a kid, and I'd go into my room because I didn't like our dad. Well, he didn't know footy, so I'd go and watch it on my own, which I still do. But yeah, I just love that, the style of game from way back. as a kid, and to get that opportunity and do it the way we did it was awesome. And I would have loved to play more, but to be able to play 3, and then Cam's going to go down as an immortal. So
happy to run second.
I'm happy to run second with you, mate. And
what
I'm
about
just grateful I got an opportunity.
What about your test for Australia?
Yep.
Who was that against, and what was that like?
Scotland. I was in Hull, which was a beautiful place of the world, and again, 2016 wasn't a great year for the Chalks, but I got an opportunity to do a tour. Only did the one, and only got the one game, but again, it's just to go on a tour like that. The blokes on that tour, you got JT, Cam, Coops, Billy, a bunch of other guys. It's like I was 26. I wasn't young, but it's still you dream of those things as a kid, and it was an awesome 6 weeks. Playing one game, it was I enjoyed England a lot. Got in no trouble, but it was I'd heard about the tours, and they didn't disappoint. So it was a great time away, and again, one of the personal highlights for me. Obviously, the team stuff, you want to win comps and that, but the Origin and the Australian jersey, that's those are sort of for yourself. Yeah.
Mm. There was a hiccup in your life many years ago when you were rushed to hospital and almost died.
Yeah.
You probably would have died. Can you tell us that story?
Yeah, we played Melbourne here at the old Allianz, and then we got a bit of a bump in my rib. I was getting my ribs needled at the time. I had a rib cartilage issue. And I got a bump, and it was, I think it was just into the second half. Pretty painful, but I played on, and I was getting short of breath. Anyway, I went and x-rayed it, and nothing was there. We couldn't see anything, so I went home, and then I was getting more and more short of breath, and then I ended up fainting in the shower. And my girlfriend at the time, called the ambulance, and they rushed me to hospital, and it turned out I'd punctured my lung. I had like 4 litres of blood in or something. I can't exactly remember, but I was trying to wait it out to not ring the physio, at 4 a.m. I was trying to get to daylight to call him and sort of say there was something wrong, and luckily the girlfriend at the time called the ambulance, and they punctured that, and
so had you been on your own at that time,
possibly would have laid there and filled up, and
that's a good comeback, mate.
It was.
But you're the tough type of character. You're known for your courage and that.
So I don't know if that's courage or stupidity, but another. I don't know. It's just, I don't know if it's a good story, but it's another just little chapter of the book, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you writing one? I heard.
Yeah, I'm working on one.
Okay.
So what do you reckon that your greatest strength was as a player? Was it your defence and your momentum and the energy that you brought to the team?
Yeah, I think they go hand in hand. I enjoyed the fitness part of training, and then I enjoyed trying to see what I could do in a game in regards to work, and how far you can push your body. And I think, I believe wholly that defence wins games, and I believe it's statistically that's right as well. And so I sort of just went after that. I loved it as a kid, defence, and I just, I think I wasn't the most skillful player, but if I can have the energy to go and do things, make tackles, be the third person out, run back, save other blokes' energies, have blokes around me, they save their energy from doing that. If I can, that was my role in the team. Go and tackle your ass off, do all the little things, and then that gave the the ability for the boys around me to use their energy in their best way. They get to go and be powerful, get quick play the balls, which then in turn helps myself and helps the team get on the front foot and, go and win games. So I think, that I suppose just being able to, I think that's the best teams, are the teams that just do what they're good at and what they need to do for the team. It's not about the big play or the, having the ego or getting the, the accolades. It's just about everyone just doing their thing and doing it well. I believe, 8 times out of 10 that will win your game. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, your courage effectively cut short your career. You suffered numerous concussions, as many as 20, and you had to retire early.
Yeah.
How did you cope with that?
Yeah, it was tough. I suppose for me, the unknown of it all, no one would stand by their word, or everyone was sitting on the fence, because at the time it was quite a big issue, or not an issue, but it was
concern.
It was everywhere in the media. Everyone was talking about it, and I believe I made the right decision, but I'll always have the what if. What if I did just have 3 months off and then had another crack? But then, I guess that part, because I believe I could have continued to play and given more, so that's annoying. But at the same time, it's like, I retired. I just had my first kid, Peter. So the decision was made quite easy with all that. And then, I was lucky that the kid at plumbing,
plenty to do.
All of that just sort of, I just had to go, and I got busy. And probably the best thing was that the team did go to the bubble, because it was like, you have to go and work your shit out and get on with it. But it's I would have loved to play a few more seasons, and then I would have loved to go and do England, do France, that sort of stuff. But you don't. That's the fairy tale. But
I was just as disappointed as you, my friend.
Not everyone gets that. Yeah, that 6% in Euro. The same. Is it? Yeah.
Hey, is the game doing enough with concussions now? It's changed a little bit. The stand down policy's stricter.
Yeah, I think it is what it is. I do believe every person is, different. Guys heal different from different injuries, and it's no different to a concussion, I believe. I think the unknown part is that they have to do something, which they're doing, and I think particularly in the juniors, that stand down's fine. I do believe the clumps of concussion are the ones that, probably affect, or you have lag on. So, I always wonder if I did just have 2 months off in between a bunch of them. But hindsight's easy. But I think we're going in the right direction. But I don't think we should have a blanket rule specific things, Individuals are different, and players are different, and every sort of case, I believe, has to be sort of looked at on its own merit, and
not let media drive who's
and it's not about that. It's medical, and then it's the player itself and the people around the player that know him. They know whether he's if he's off or not, and they should be the ones making the decision, not 20 articles in a newspaper. And
so what were some of the consequences of your concussions? Would you get headaches?
I was pretty good with symptoms. I used to always pass the test, whether it was because I memorised it from doing it so much, or maybe I actually have something up there. I don't know. But, you'd have some symptoms post, straight away. But usually I recovered quite quickly. And got back into the swing of things. It was just purely that we got to a number, and it was like, how many are you going to have, and what if the next one is the one that gives you a bunch of symptoms? Or so it was, at the end of it, if I had come back and got a concussion, I would look like an idiot. So it was like, you got a kid, you got a business. Yeah, you've had a good career. You got my health. I got my fiance. I got my family. I've had everything, like pros and cons. It was just like it is what it is.
But when's the wedding? It's been a while, hasn't it?
We've been engaged 5 years. Yeah,
right.
We went and actually watched the guy live. That he's going to be the wedding song, so I think I could probably push it out 5 more, I reckon.
You reckon?
Yeah.
So there's no plans?
Not yet, no. We do have to do it. I'd like to go and do it in Greece. My wife's Greek, so well, she's not my wife. My fiance is Greek, so we've tossed up that maybe in a few years when the kids are a bit older to get over to Europe and have a little shindig over there. So. Mate, put your budgies on and...
Yeah, I'll be there. Yeah. Put me down. Are you paying for the flights?
No, you got 6%. You'll be fine, mate.
Biggest influences on your career? Anyone in particular?
Robbo would be definitely one. I think 2010, as I said, him and Smithy sat there. He went away to France.
He was assistant at the time.
Assistant coach, yeah.
But obviously had a good relationship with
the D, and then when Smithy got moved on, Robbo was straight back, and I've played under him for basically my whole career, and footy wise, one of the most intelligent brains I've met, but then just life. Like he's
a good listener.
He just me.
No, he
he's always trying to learn, and you ask him something about anything, and he'll spit out some sort of answer. He might just be bullshitting me, but I am. But he's been one. Obviously my family. Mum and dad. They're through thick and thin. But yeah, and then. My partner she, particularly the back end where, you've got the concussion and all that jazz, just being able to be a rock and support you, and, always, footy's a selfish game. You look after yourself, and your week revolves around that game, and everything you plan backwards, and a lot of times, partners, and I didn't have kids for my career, but partners and kids aren't in those plans. It's about what you need to do to perform. She's been a massive part of all of that. And then, you got yourself and some people early on that if Linda's, even down to the boys, like those guys, I'm thankful for a lot of people. That I'm here, I got to live out pretty well all of the dreams that I had in rugby league. So, and then the players along the way that I'm not going to name them all, but I've got some great friendships that I still have, and I'm looking forward to enjoying life after footy with a bunch of them. A couple of them are overseas at the moment, but I'm it's, I think, rugby league it's given me so much. So it's been good so far, mate. But I think there's plenty more to just sort of get after.
Do you want to be an NRL coach?
Yeah, to be decided, Chimes. Yeah. I do love the coaching part. I like it too because at academy level there isn't pressure of win and lose. There's the pressure for me to make a kid better and help him on his journey, which is rewarding. But you don't have to have that pressure of win loss, big team aspects, and it's just purely I'm going to help you realise your dream, which has been really cool. And I think at the moment it's sort of where I'm happy, and it allows me to jump in and out of some of the plumbing stuff as well. So,
do you think you'd be where you are today without hitting those hurdles early on?
Nah, definitely not. As I said, they're all little stepping stones, whether they're good or bad. You've got to take them, otherwise you're just going to sit stagnant. I'll go and have a crack at anything. If it turns out that it's not fucking good, then hopefully I won't do it again, but maybe I will do it a few more times and then I'll work it out. But as long as you're going and, trying and learning and getting better, then, I think that's all you can really ask for.
We spoke about how busy you are with the academy and with your business. What do you do for downtime? How do you enjoy?
I don't have a whole lot at the moment. I don't mind getting in the surf. I would love to play golf, but saying I'm disappearing for 5 hours on a Saturday is, it doesn't go down well. So, but yeah, mate, just hanging with the family and, you'd love to just do exactly what you want, and that's what I used to do, and that has been hard without footy, and then when you truck kids and all the other stuff, you don't get as much time as you did as a player. But yeah, mate, whatever. I'm happy just chilling with the kids and the family, and if I get to get a surf in or a game of golf, then happy days.
Mate, it's a remarkable story. Thank you for sharing it with us today. Good luck for the future. Thanks for being on Chiming In.
Thanks, Chimes.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers, mate.